Looking for these better days.
It is Wednesday, July 8th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. An instant classic as Argentina storms from behind to defeat Egypt at the World Cup as the quarterfinals are now set. Plus the latest in Major League Baseball. Joining us on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel, is Seth Everett, the host of Sports with Friends, available wherever you get your podcasts. Seth, appreciate you giving us some time here. And let's start in the World Cup because I know you are a footy fan. What did you think of Messi and Argentina's historic comeback, scoring 3 goals in the final, 12 minutes to shock Mo Salah and Egypt, winning 3-2 in regulation?
It was shocking, but you saw it coming, right? You saw it. Like Argentina just was pushing the accelerator pedal. What I have been fascinated by in this World Cup is how these world-class athletes can't control possession. They don't know how to buckle in and protect a lead. And Egypt had a 2-0 lead, and I'm sorry, I don't do nil. That's not. I'm not. I don't do nil, and I also put the home team second. You don't put the home team first. It's backwards. But the idea that they couldn't control the tempo of the game, and as Argentina was just trying to thrust, it was like they were coming back into a shell, and they went against everything that they were doing to get the 2-0 lead in the first place. And it happens time and time again, and it's the reason why some of these elites showed that they're elite. They just never give up, and it's England against Mexico is the same thing. It's just they never stop accelerating, and no one knows how to take anybody out of their game. And from watching the Premier League, that's all they do. In the Premier League, if you get a 2-0 lead, you better not blow it. And what you're going to do is you're not going to let the other team touch the ball. Not only did Egypt let Argentina touch the ball, they let them control the play in the second half with a lead. That's ridiculous.
Well, let's also talk about a little bit of controversy, as it probably should have been 3-0. Yeah, that's right. I said nil for Egypt because they were up 1-0. They score a goal that gets actually overturned because of a foul that occurred 100 yards away from where the goal actually happened. And then, of course, in the ball don't lie moment, they actually score again to reclaim their 2-0 lead, which really should have been a 3-0 lead. And I tweeted this out, and sure,
but if it's 3-0, are you saying then Argentina doesn't make the comeback?
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different game. But what I'm also saying is to try and put it in perspective for American fans that don't watch soccer, imagine a home run gets called back and taken off of the scoreboard because 2 pitches prior, it should have been strike 3. Like, I understand we have ABS challenges now, but like, once the play's over, it's over. Like, this was crazy. There was a borderline foul that occurred in the defensive zone for Egypt. Then they march all the way down the field and score a goal. And all of a sudden, we're going to VAR to review it to say that there was a foul that shouldn't have given them possession. I don't know. It seemed like it was, I'll just say this. If the roles were reversed, Argentina's up 2-0 at that point, not 1-0 with an overturned goal.
The World Cup, and we can talk all about FIFA all you like, the inconsistency with the officiating. It's not terrible officiating. It's inconsistent. And when something like that happens in any of the domestic leagues, whether it's the German league, the Spanish league, the Italian league, the Premier League, it doesn't matter. When there is a controversy, there is a commissioner that comes down and sits down. And usually if the VAR guy makes a weird call like that, it is scrutinized, it is gone over, and doesn't happen again. And in FIFA's world, I mean, you have officials that are from all over the world. So I don't know that it's a bias. I'm not saying that I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Sure.
What I'm saying is the quality of the officiating varies from city to city and game to game, and it's part of what makes this tournament. This tournament is bigger than the Olympics, but it is an absolute crap show. It's run by a terrible organization, and they win. It is great because the game is great,
Mhm.
not because the tournament is well run.
VAR is very frustrating because it's inconsistent. It's up to whoever's reviewing it and is going to
Right.
determine whatever they think they see. We can talk about the Balogun red card; doesn't
You
matter
could talk
anymore.
about Balogun. You could talk about the England red card. You could
Sure,
talk about any of
yeah,
them.
yeah, and there was even a moment in the Colombia Switzerland game that wound up going into penalties. Congratulations to the Swiss who advanced to the quarterfinals as they will take on Messi and Argentina.
My guy,
But
Granit Xhaka.
But that's your boy. But there was a moment where there appeared to be a foul inside of the box, and the announcers were saying, "Where's VAR? Like that they're not going to review this. Like it was a
No.
late challenge that is a borderline penalty." But at that point, I actually agreed with not calling it there because the officials like it's a 0-0 game that's about to go to extra. Like
What are you
don't
doing now? What are you doing at that
exactly.
point? Yeah.
Don't affect the game. Like let them play it out. But if that was in the ninth minute, that's probably a penalty kick. So there's a lot
I
of
will I will
inconsistencies.
say I will say, and you and I have worked for rights holders before, and you have to walk the line of how
Hmm.
much you can criticize. I will give Fox credit for now. Fox has had great omissions on a lot of the political stuff, but what they have done is been very critical of FIFA. Um, Both in the game announcers and in their studio shows, when FIFA does something ridiculous, they say it, and
Mm.
I've been very surprised on that. I also know that this is the last year of the Fox FIFA contract, so that the 2030 World Cup, which is
That's
in
a made up year.
Morocco, I know we'll have the flying car by then. Uh, right. Who in their right mind thinks this planet's going to still be rotating in 2030? Uh, but the 2030 World Cup, it is almost a foregone conclusion that Fox doesn't keep it. So I wonder if they kind of took the guardrails off
Mm.
their announcers and said you can say whatever you want about that. Now, Fox still doesn't talk about the politics around any of this stuff, but that's Fox. That's what
Yeah.
Fox does. That's what all of Fox Sports does. So the reality is that I was impressed that both the game announcers, both the American and the British game announcers and the studio shows have been very critical of FIFA,
Yeah. It's been a fun tournament to
as they
watch.
should be.
It's been a fun tournament to watch because of, as you mentioned, the game has been great. Yes, there have been moments we can pick apart, but here's where we are right now, Seth. The quarterfinal is set. Here are your matchups. They begin coming up tomorrow. France takes on Morocco. These are the odds up on FanDuel to advance, not the three-way line. This is to advance to the next round. France minus 390, Morocco plus 300. Spain will take on Belgium. Spain minus 380, Belgium plus 280. Norway versus England. England minus 230, Norway plus 182. And the world champs, Argentina versus Switzerland. Argentina minus 310, the Swiss plus 240. Is there an underdog of these final eight teams, Seth, that you like to advance to the semifinal?
I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this because I could also see them winning the whole World Cup, but Norway,
Okay.
Norway,
I think it's a great game.
Norway
It's a great
could.
game.
It's a great matchup. I think England's the better team. If you're asking me,
Yeah.
and, I understand. I listen to your podcast. I know what this is. If you're asking me, but your question was, is there a team that's one of the underdogs that I think could win? Spain hasn't given up a goal yet. France is probably the best of all these groups. Argentina will probably beat Switzerland, but I don't. I think Argentina's shown that they are flawed.
Oh, sure.
And if Switzerland gets a 2-0 lead, they're not giving it up. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
just I don't. I think Argentina of the favorites is the weakest of the favorites. Only because of the underdog. Belgium's a very good team, but Spain hasn't given up a goal. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't given up a goal yet. Until they give up a goal, who's going to beat them? France, Spain, by the way, would be incredible. But I could see Norway. I could see Norway, just that combination of Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard and Erling Haaland, Manchester City annoying guy, coming out and I could see them impacting the game differently than Switzerland, Belgium, or Morocco.
France is your favorite to lift the trophy up on FanDuel plus 180, Spain plus
Yeah,
370, Argentina plus 380, England plus 480, Norway plus 1600, Morocco 27 to 1, Belgium 27 to 1, Switzerland 30 to 1. You know, I might have jinxed the win or the potential win for Egypt yesterday when I tweeted out a clip from yesterday's podcast and newsletter where my co-host yesterday, Mackenzie Rivers, mentioned how Egypt can get it done against Argentina. And we agreed that minus 800, that's where the odds were. The odds to advance yesterday before the match, Seth.
That's a good play.
Argentina was minus 800. And we said, that is such a joke of a line. That's so disrespectful to Egypt. And if you asked anybody right now, name brand aside, who is the better player at this stage of their career? Mo Salah might be the best player in England right now, if not one of the best players in England. And Messi's playing in the MLS because he's aging.
Well, and his leaving Liverpool, that's the biggest story of the offseason so far.
Yes. And yes, Messi's still great. Yes,
I can't stand him. I cannot
he had an incredible goal yesterday, right? He did what Messi does, but for Egypt to be that sizable of an underdog, I thought was very disrespectful, and they almost pulled it off with the 2-0 victory, 2-0 lead that should have been a 3-0 lead, and but Argentina with the greatest comeback maybe that we've ever seen in a World Cup match. Did you see Tom Brady tweet out, "Well, that beats 28-3." in reference to the Falcons blowing the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl.
Funny.
No, I don't know.
If I had seen that, I would have written, you should have deflated those footballs.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that crazy, but also, like, think about what we saw in the NBA Finals, too. Like, the Spurs blowing ridiculous leads. Like, comebacks have just happened in all sports in these championships, and maybe we shouldn't be shocked that the defending world champs come back from 2-0 down in the last 10-plus minutes to win the game.
I just want to have a caveat, though. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just want to have a caveat, though. Even though I said Norway could advance, I think the job that England did in Mexico City was a heroic effort. And that should not be discounted. And if you want to say, well, do they have the superstars? They have the superstars. I mean, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka. I mean, they have the superstars. I think they're as good a team as any of these. Now, the weird part about England is I think England can beat Norway, and I think England, let's just play this ahead, I think England beats Argentina.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going on a limb by saying that.
No.
So that means you're in the final against either France or Spain. You don't have to go through France and Spain.
Yep.
That's huge for England.
Yeah, I've given it out multiple times. I think if we're making a bet right now on the teams that are remaining, it is still England for me. You can get plus 480.
Do you disagree with my argument? And I thought this was, before the Balogun nonsense, I thought this was a massive controversy. You do not play a round of 16 matchup in a city, in a stadium that has the kind of altitude that Mexico City has. I don't care that they're the host. They're one of the host countries and that team happens to be it. I don't give a crap. You can't put that team, because that team got there 3 days before, having played a game less than a week before. They have to recover.
Yeah.
They're not training for that. They're not acclimating. Think about how many times we have seen NBA teams go into Denver and wilt. How many times hockey teams have gone into Denver and wilt. NFL teams have wilted in the altitude. And you have to have a certain level of training. That's what made the England effort heroic, is that you're doing it in a road game, because 90% of that stadium was Mexico.
100%.
And that I don't care about. Look, that's not the issue.
Yeah.
You know where that stadium is. And again, this is FIFA being FIFA. They don't care. Fairness is not what governs this tournament. The organization is a sham. You're not sponsored by FIFA, are you?
I am not sponsored by FIFA.
Okay,
No.
then we're good. Yeah, FIFA is a sham. Coming down. 3, 2, 1.
Great stuff on the World Cup, Seth. I want to transition because for those who are not familiar with your work throughout the entirety of your media career, you covered Major League Baseball for over 20 years. I don't say that to age you. I say that to
26 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
I say that to provide a background on your experience. Major League Baseball's All Star break is coming up next week. All Star game in Philadelphia. If you're watching the World Cup, you're seeing all the commercials for 250th birthday of America. We're going to celebrate America's pastime with a roster that includes maybe 3 Americans. So like it's the games and
I like
game,
that. I
games
might use that.
yeah, games in Philly. Like, yes, it is a massive celebration of Major League Baseball. What are some fond All Star weekend memories for you?
uh, oh my God, my favorites. It would have to. It would have to be. My favorite All Star game of all time is 2002. That's the tie.
Yeah. Okay. So the one in Milwaukee that created the whole play for home field advantage in the World
Playing for
Series
home field.
nonsense. Yeah.
Yep. This time it counts. That was the tie, and we were in Milwaukee, and that was the day that there was a massive rainstorm during the home run derby. It's a retractable roof in Milwaukee, right? And it's a massive rainstorm. And waiting to get on the media shuttle to go back to the hotel, Charlie Manuel, who is a dear friend of mine, who was managing the Cleveland then Indians, walks up to the bus and slips in mud and wipes out like like he looked like Fred Flintstone falling into a pile of mud. And my partner Brian McRae says, my partner at the time was Brian McRae, and he says that's probably the most embarrassed Charlie Manuel's ever been. That's probably like the worst moment of his professional career. He got fired the next day. So that one happened.
Yeah.
Then the massive hotel. This was the Monday night. This was the home run derby of that All-Star game. This is before the tie. The hotel, the big hotel, the Pfister Hotel, which is the big hotel where all the teams stay whenever they play the Bucks or the Brewers or whomever. They they had the fire alarm go off at like 1 a.m. And the two visuals that I will see from that in the parking lot of it, number one, Bud Selig in his pajamas. That's number one. And number two, I saw one of my MLB coworkers walking around the parking lot, and I said, "You're not staying at this hotel." And he said, "I know, heard about the fire alarm, thought I could see some action." That was all before the All-Star game in 2002. It's my favorite All-Star game. And then the tie, and the whole issue was with the tie is they ran out of pitchers.
Yeah.
And what I said to the MLB offices, I said, get Bud out of the seats because you're going to have to come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And Bud Seeley, who was my boss, stood up there and put his shrugged his shoulders like the emoji.
Yeah.
Like he shrugged it, and he looked like he had no idea what he was doing. And I will swear to this, Bud Selig is one of the smartest people I ever knew covering baseball. He looked like an absolute buffoon that night.
Yep. And I'm so thankful that they got rid of that stupid, playing for home field advantage thing. So that
I remember in 2003, the first year of This Time It Counts, MLB Radio, we were calling that game. And I was calling it. I want to say it wasn't with Daryl. It was somebody. I don't remember who I was calling it with, but I took over in the 4th inning, and I said, and it was tied, and I said with a straight face, I said, "Wow, the tension is palpable. I don't know where Game 1 of the World Series is going to be."
It's good. That's good stuff. It's good stuff. As we're halfway through the Major League Baseball season, you can look up and down the standings, and I think a couple of things jump out to you. One, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, right? A positive 164 run differential as we record this pod. Best record in all of Major League Baseball. And then you could look on the other side and you see in the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays have the best record in the American League, 52 and 36 as we record this pod here. So on one hand, there's the argument for baseball doesn't need a salary cap. Like, well, forget about this nonsense of a labor stoppage. We're good. The Dodgers just spend money and then win. And then you can see the other side and say, well, you have teams that are small market teams that don't spend a lot of money that are winning and they're in first place. So it's kind of like you have both ends of this, the argument, right? In both the American League and the National League. Where do you come down on this? I mean, I've been asked the question, will Major League Baseball start the 2027 season on time? And I've always said, yes, they will, because I think there's just too much money involved. But I read some scary things. I'm not going to lie, Seth. I read some scary, scathing articles that say that we are headed towards a work stoppage.
Well, I still talk to people in the union, so I kind of, this is the one aspect of baseball that I've been paying attention to. This year was a unique year in that 22 of 30 teams came into the season without a regional sports network. Now, you say, well, what's the difference? Well, when you have a regional sports network, that means you have a finite amount of income. Just to give you an example, the LA Dodgers made $330 million on their contract with Sportsnet LA. The Detroit Tigers made $10 on a $29.99 subscription. And if the Tigers struggle, you know, when you have streaming services, and I hope you're all cord cutters listening to this podcast, you can cancel a streaming app very easily. And the revenues are completely tied into what the records are. The Yankees, the Orioles are one of those teams that has an RSN. There are 22 teams that do not, including the Atlanta Braves, including the Washington Nationals. The payroll discrepancy, it's not payroll discrepancy, and I say that word, and every time I say it on my podcast, I have to edit it out. It's revenue discrepancy is at an all-time high. It used to be, when I covered baseball, it used to be charming. You had the A's and the Twins. The Montreal Expos were making a run in 2002. Like there was all this talk. It was charming to have low payroll teams that compete. The difference now is the business model is not sustainable. And the weirdest part about all of baseball's operating costs is that Rob Manfred wants is to have one umbrella, one app, whether it's the ESPN direct-to-consumer app or MLB's app or whatever it is. Hell, you could make it Amazon Prime. I don't care what the app is. It doesn't matter to me. But what they want is they're hoping that this labor negotiation will convince the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers to abandon known income. And so what the union is saying is this is an owners versus owners fight. And this isn't really anything to do with players. There are enough people, and I can recommend a couple of people that should come on your podcast that can tell you that a salary cap is not the solution. The problem is if you don't have 30 teams making money the way the NFL made it, go back in history in the 1960s, Pete Rozelle was the commissioner of the NFL. The Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants had separate television offers. They had offers to air Giants games on a television station. It wasn't cable because it was the 1960s. And Pete Rozelle got on his hands and knees and begged those teams, don't sign those deals. The only way this sport works is if we do one contract. And look at the NFL. Yeah. The NFL, even though they have 7 broadcast partners, every one of them is split evenly. So the Green Bay Packers make the same amount of money. Again, it's not about franchise viability, and it's not asking you to pay the same. I'm not advocating for the salary cap. What I'm saying is the only way baseball can thrive is that if every team has the same amount of revenue, then you have a competitive playing field. So it would increase the revenue of the Tampa Bays and the Athletics and some of the smaller market teams, but it would reduce the Dodgers and it would reduce the Yankees, and their ownership is going to say over my dead body, and that's why I think that you have a problem.
Mm. Well
It's a
said.
long answer, but it's a major issue.
Yeah, very well said. Very, very well said. We'll see if it comes down to that. At this point, we can just enjoy the games that are in front of us right now and we'll worry about next season when next season comes around. Final thing, Seth, I know you are a tennis guy. Novak Djokovic advances to the semifinals at Wimbledon. Are you placing your money on the Joker to advance to the next round as he takes on Yannick Sinner? By the way, Sinner up on FanDuel minus 430, Joker plus 340 for the semifinal.
No. I thought that Felix Auger Aliassime wilted. And I was shocked because Novak was the guy that looked like he was um, about to wilt. Like these 3 out of 5, I've said repeatedly, if you look at the ATP tour throughout the season, it's 2 out of 3
Mm-hmm.
until you get to the majors, and then it becomes 3 out of 5. And these 3 out of 5 tournaments to me are obnoxious. They're not skill based. What I love, and if you watch the women's game, and I always gravitate to the women's game. First of all, it's much more wide open. The top 3 seeds, as we do this podcast, the top 3 seeds are all out.
Yeah.
All right. And Pagula was the 4th seed, right? So the top 4 seeds are out. And this idea that you go into every major in the women's side and you don't know. Now you have your favorites. Sabalenka is always the favorite, and she should be, but you don't know as a fan who's going to be there at the end. In the men's side, Novak Djokovic's best opportunity was the French because both Alcaraz was hurt and Sinner got eliminated. That's not going to happen this time. Sinner is going to beat him, and Sinner's not going to wilt. And you could play. He could play him competitively, but that's going to be Yannick Sinner, and Yannick Sinner is going to win this. He's going to beat Zverev. He'll beat Taylor Fritz. I mean, Yannick Sinner is the best tennis player on the planet. Now, I'm conflicted about him because did he cheat? We don't really know the whole thing. And I mean, I covered baseball for 26 years, so 9 times out of 10 when they were accused of cheating, they cheated. But Yannick Sinner is the guy, and I think that's the only bet you can place.
Your futures market to win Wimbledon: Yannick Sinner minus 240, Djokovic plus 550, Taylor Fritz plus 850, Alexander Zverev 9-1. Obviously,
Zverev won the French, but
Yeah.
that's because Sinner was out, and so was Djokovic. And I'm just saying, Djokovic is not playing other tournaments; he's only training for these majors.
Mhm.
Like this, what's he doing? The French to me was the one. Like, what are you doing this for?
Ego. Well, we'll see what happens coming up for the semifinals there at Wimbledon. Seth, this was a great conversation, man. Why don't you tell the audience where they can find all of your work?
Well, if you can listen to this podcast, you can listen to that. Whatever you're listening to this podcast on, don't press pause. Don't even stop this podcast. You can go to whatever the app that is, and you can type in the words "sports with friends," and you can hear "sports with friends."
It's great. It's a great point. If you're listening to this pod, you already know what to do.
I know.
You've already done it.
You've already found the podcast app, whatever that app is. I'm partial. I like the Apple one. Because I've had fights with Spotify, but I get it. A lot of people, I saw something that said more people listen to Sports with Friends on Spotify than Apple. It's like giving up to the man. I can't fight City Hall.
There he is. He's Seth Everett. Programming alert reminder coming up today. It is Wednesday, so Colby Marchio and Jake Hassan will be streaming their Off the Board podcast on the Better Day Twitter page and Better Day YouTube account. Make sure you are following along there. You can also listen on this Better Day podcast feed after that episode airs and it is posted. Be sure to follow us across all your social media channels and never miss an announcement from us. And check out all the latest news and offerings that we have up on betterday.com. For Seth Everett, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.